Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the show. This is our first commentary show in which we discuss your comments on the YouTube videos of the previous videos that have been released. In this episode, we'll be covering episode 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, yeah, let's just get straight into it. So, episode 1, which I should have researched to remember what we talked about, but I think that was pretty much just our introductory.
It was a review of Disney and Star Wars and
Yes.
all that
So
jazz.
our first comment came from Zap Rosedower, I'm going to say, and he says, "Hate to nitpick, but Disney does not own Henson Company, just the Muppets and Bear in the Big Blue House properties," which I believe you
I did address
corrected
as a
on
comment. He was
later.
he was absolutely correct, and I was thinking Muppets, but I think it's just that's their strongest property, and that's their that's the big thing I sort of
Yeah.
associate when I think Henson, I think Muppets, and I said Henson instead of Muppets, but you are absolutely correct.
Yes. This is why
Insert
we're a
username
community
here.
show. We expect to be corrected. Uh, all things Disney says, great episode, guys. Going to definitely watch this show as we get closer to 2015.
Watch it now.
I think the fact that people are nervous when Marvel and Star Wars was bought by Disney made sense, but people need to understand that not every Disney film is G or PG. If you look at what Marvel has released since being bought by Disney, the movies have been great. Captain America 2 was great, and the same goes with the Guardians. I think Star Wars is going to be as good as before. Disney will not screw it up. I agree. Just
I agree fully too. I think it's not a Disney film. It's a film made by a subsidiary company of the Walt Disney Company.
yeah,
So it's still a Lucasfilm film under the Disney umbrella, but it's not like you said, we're not going to see the Disney logo,
yeah,
at the start, and it doesn't have to be G-rated. So
no.
it's all
Although
good.
personally, I'd like to see the Disney logo at the start. I
You
want to
just want to see,
see,
how they alter it. You just want to see the castle as
yeah,
lightsaber beams.
that
Yeah,
Tron intro blew me away. You know how the
that was
castle
fantastic. Yeah,
just yeah. Well, we can get a Star Wars version of that. Look, just put it post credits, all right. If you don't want to put it at the
yeah.
front, just put it post credits. I
Just get
just
in
want
there
to see
somewhere
the Ewok village version of the
of a
Cinderella
Disney
castle.
castle.
Thank you. Steve Reed says, so it's a Disney Infinity podcast which manages to not even mention Disney Infinity. Seems odd for an opening show to me. Well,
Well,
thank you for that feedback.
that takes real skill. That's a talent right there
Exactly.
to have
No,
to.
we designed this show to be inclusive. So we wanted to appeal to Star Wars fans and Disney Infinity fans. So I thought it was a good outreach opportunity, perhaps to not go so Infinity heavy in episode 1. That was the thinking anyway. But as I'm sure he knows by now, we definitely speak a ton of Infinity on the show. We just had a few
Hopefully, we didn't lose him
introductory
after the
episodes to
very.
get through.
Yeah, hopefully we didn't lose him in the very first episode. But look, Star Wars episode 1 didn't do so well as far as quality, so we can't be blamed too much.
Yeah.
No, that was it. I'm just kidding. But look, Infinity doesn't even have Star Wars yet, so we're doing what we can.
Exactly.
But it's the road to Star Wars. But
Exactly.
I think you nailed it with your answer, Jay, where it's about speculation, and the first couple of episodes were just discussing the changeover of Star Wars property to Disney, the what we'd like to see, the concept of Infinity for those Star Wars fans who hadn't seen it. So once we got through those, and to those who are familiar with Star Wars and Infinity, well, thanks for sticking with us. Those first couple of episodes probably would have been a lot of rehashing of stuff through and through, but
Yeah.
now we're there. We're discussing lots of new and original
Yeah.
ideas.
Rob from Vinylmation Kingdom says, with the lightsaber and speedster in 2.0, I think it's more of when than if Star Wars joins Disney Infinity. I agree with you guys. They can spread out Star Wars over the editions. Well, obviously we agree. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done the show.
but absolutely, yeah. We're on the same page there.
Yeah.
So nothing to say.
Kev Wayne simply says Ace, and I can't agree more.
Well, it's mainly because you're on the show, Jay.
Ace, awesome.
Ace.
It's a very 80s term, so he's after my own heart. That's just Ace.
It's a retro
I haven't
term.
heard that in years.
The only thing he could have said that was better was that's bulk Ace.
Is Ace a term? I feel like Ace is a term born out of like the Top Gun movement. Is there a lot of Ace going in Top Gun? It feels like a Top Gun term. I don't know.
Whatever you see, you're the master
I completely
race.
skipped over.
No, master race. That's
that was episode
Highlander.
2 comments, by the way.
Right, okay. I didn't think we were going to divide them episode by episode.
No,
so.
well, we are.
We are.
In future, I'll make note of what each episode topic was, so that the comments have a bit of relevancy.
Okay.
So episode 3, I have no idea what we talked about, but we'll see if we can work it out based on the comments. The Lego Batman 3609 says, being 7 or 8... Yes, okay, so in reference to when he was 7 or 8, because how do you know not what your age is? Being 7 or 8, I always remember fighting with my blue lightsaber. I was just in love with that franchise. I can't wait to play as Luke and relive back being a kid. And again, this is why I am so adamant that I want this to be as close to toys as possible, because I think that is the niche market that they can hit, is about that nostalgia of playing with Star Wars toys. If they're gonna hit that older audience, that 30 plus audience, you make them remember their younger years playing with the action figures.
I agree. Well, this episode we discussed the art style, so
Right.
obviously it's getting into.
I did bring that up.
You brought that up, so I agree. I think that's what Infinity is about, especially the ability to, have Luke Skywalker, playing with, Mr. Incredible, like you would have had your figures in the sort of mid '80s. So I couldn't agree more. I'm glad that it's hitting a note with the people that we're obviously able to relate with, the people that they're basically feeling what we're trying to convey, which is capturing that magic of Star Wars in Infinity.
All Things Disney says, great episode. I definitely agree with your thoughts on the look of the figures, and I would honestly be very happy with the characters looking a lot like the renderings that were done, as those were spectacular. I think he's referring to the ones we put up, those.
I believe so, yeah.
I think that those are really good medium between the classic look of Star Wars and the nice cartoony type look of Disney Infinity. So I agree. I would be wrapped if they looked like that.
I think one of the most realistic looking ones, or the most detailed, is the Maleficent one. But then again, I guess it comes back to she's probably one of the only ones based on a real life actress.
Yes.
There you go. Sully, Stitch, The Incredibles, they're all CG characters. Are there any others based? Oh, you got Lone Ranger and Tonto. I even think Lone Ranger and Tonto are more cartoon. The Lone Ranger looks like a cartoon figure, even though it's based on an actor. Whereas Maleficent looks like almost more like a caricature.
Yes. Okay,
So I
close up, see if it'll focus. Nope. Well
Nope.
done. Camera.
and they could have made her less blurry, I think, in the final figure.
Well, they're very hard to model blur, so
yes. So I think there'll be that real mix of not quite as far as Clone Wars.
Yeah.
For the ones, I mean, obviously the Rebels figures can look exactly like they do in the cartoon. They don't even have to alter them. But I want to see if you got Luke and Han, I don't want to see them looking completely like cartoon characters of that. I want to see somewhere between, the Tonto or the Jack Sparrow or the,
definitely
that sort of stuff.
So, episode 4, which Can't remember what we talked about, but people clearly got excited about the user
We talked about
feedback because
play
they started
sets.
leaving novels in the comment
Yes,
section. So,
we started talking about play sets.
right, playset. So, Rob again from Vinylmation Kingdom says, I'm going to go a slightly different direction. I don't think we will see 3.0 be a Star Wars themed as 2.0 was with Marvel. I think it's going to be a little less full on, spreading out Marvel and Disney with Star Wars. I think Rebels is probably an easy shoe-in, and the episode 7 coming out during the 3.0 life cycle, it makes sense to tie it in with that. But maybe they will push back the classics and prequel Clone Wars for later editions, 4.0, 5.0. They don't need to rush everything at once, and I hope they don't. I've much prefer 3.0 to have a Disney, Marvel and Star Wars side rather than all Star Wars. I actually wholeheartedly agree with that, because I think there was a lot of negative feedback on this 2.0 being so Marvel focused.
And especially when you've got the Spider-Man playset set in New York and the Avengers playset set in New York and and then the Guardians of the Galaxy being so
Yep.
short.
Yeah.
They obviously overextended, as far as what they could do.
And I think what
So
he says here about not rushing is key. I totally agree. There's no point in trying to make it all things Star Wars in one thing, but actually somehow do it in such a way that you know that, oh, this is a good start. And I'm looking forward to see how they expand upon this over coming versions.
I agree. Star Wars is an evergreen. It's been around for, coming up on 40 years.
Yeah.
That's frightening. 77 to 2017 will be
Yeah.
40 years. So it's not going anywhere.
No.
So the case of 12 months of bringing out, some play sets with 3.0 and then some play sets. I've said before that I honestly think we'll get to a point where the Infinity game gets updated annually, but we'll just see this feed out of figures. If we're getting to the point where they're releasing originals figures, Star Wars figures, and Marvel figures, you're going to end up with 40 or 50 every release, and that's starting to get up to Skylander volume.
Yeah.
If they're doing that, I'd rather see 15 released every quarter.
Yeah.
And you just get this cycle of freshness, and that way you can constantly kind of feel fresh with Infinity year round as well.
I agree.
So the game comes out annually, but instead of going, right, now we've got all these figures to collect, and if we don't get them, they're going to run out or, not be able to get them later, just to be able to get in there and get the ones on a regular release cycle.
I agree.
But as far as the play set, sorry, just quickly,
Yep.
I think he's absolutely right. There's no need to rush. I think he's hit the nail on the head.
Yep. Don't rush. Don't rush it, Disney. Take your time. Get it right. Shadow Pix Lexia, I believe that's how you say the name, wrote quite the novel. I'll read through it. Hopefully it's good, because I haven't pre-vetted it. I would love to see not only a Star Wars Rebels playset, as it's new, but a Star Wars The Old Republic playset too. You got to notice that the rumors are saying that Darth Revan from Star Wars The Old Republic is going to be... Raven, is it?
Oh, no,
it's going to be in Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and in order for Revan, I'm going to call him, to have a proper return to the Star Wars universe as a possible soon-to-be major character, they're going to have to rebrush up the lore of the Old Republic. That being said, BioWare had some say on KOTOR and the Old Republic. So
Knights of the Republic.
Yep. So in order for the Star Wars The Old Republic playset to be a thing, they must pull all the storyline elements as they see fit from the Knights of the Republic KOTOR duology and the Star Wars The Old Republic and its expansions to basically create a storyline that allows characters from those games they see fit to become involved, like how the Old Republic did an expansion about the beginnings of Jabba the Hutt's sugar cartel, and how they did a big expansion about the origins of the Fett family tree. They must also be able to successfully connect the Old Republic playset and explain the origins of Sheev Palpatine, the primary leader of the Sith, also known as the dark side of the Force, so people can get to know how he became who he is today. We may also want Darth Revan involved, but when he was younger, they could kind of explain how he was some of the earliest Sith apprentices and such, that kind of thing. In order for this to work, however, they must show a bit more of a peaceful world with less warring, as the warring really started to take shape in the prequel trilogy. Other elements of the Old Republic, the government place time period, not the game, should involve probably more Sith origins and just exactly how the Sith ended up wanting to take over in the prequels. He goes on
and on.
and on. Here you go. My expectation is that because of the timing, they will release the original trilogy and a Rebels playset in the first wave. The second wave will be released after the episode 7 and include a playset. They do have a fine line to tread to keep both the older fans happy and new ones who have entered the Star Wars universe through Rebels. Also, for a commercial point of view, it would be great to get the most popular characters in Boba Fett, Darth Vader, so this again will point to an original trilogy playset. Let's face it, the Star Wars original trilogy is the fans' touchstone, so I think that would be a bit of an outcry if this wasn't included, whereas Rebels is still a fairly new entry into the canon. What I would like to see them do is when they have set pieces that you could actually go inside, like an interior, it would be cool to have a Millennium Falcon that you could actually go inside, and if they could release pre-built toy box templates based on locations, that would make creating adventures so much easier. They may actually go left field on us and brand it as Sith versus Jedi, as some other version of Dark versus Light. That way they would not have to keep to the storylines and could include all the popular characters. Also, I hope they included Jar Jar NPC so you could fight him and do bad things to him. Let's face it, we all want to. Okay, so I agree with all that. I don't know where the
that's the best answer ever to that comment. Okay, I agree with all that.
Yeah. I don't know where the Knight stuff fits. Is that still canon, or they kill all that?
I don't know if it's canon or not, but it only exists in the gaming world. So yes. I doubt it's canon. It's you know, they scrapped all the books, all the comics, everything outside of the film. So
it's not out the scope for them to reference it through like a villager or something like that, but I certainly don't think they're going to give any weight to it.
Look, we don't even get
new films and 3 spin-off films in the future
and such weight to the classic trilogy. I remember when, you know, you used to be considered, you know, up on your Star Wars trivia when you knew that the Emperor's last name was Palpatine.
Yeah.
You know, people used to just call him the Emperor because I don't think Palpatine's ever mentioned in the classic trilogy. Now, you know, since that Tarkin book came out, you know, we found out that his first name's Sheev. So, you know, they're referring to him on a first name basis there.
Yeah.
And getting into Knights of the Republic and the Old Republic, I don't actually agree with that. I don't agree that we need to go into all that. This is obviously a very dedicated fan who's very passionate, and I get that.
Yeah.
But as far as, you know, this is Disney Infinity we're talking about. That's the whole point. It's not these, you know, is it MLM universes, MCM? I've gone blank. Like, you know, Warcraft and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, where you've got this is a very old reference, and I apologize to those who don't understand, but I remember my father talking about the movie MASH, and he saw that after he had watched the series for like 9 years.
Yep.
And he was disappointed with the movie because he saw that last after, you know, the original movie that set off the series. And the reason he was disappointed, he said, I shouldn't really be disappointed because I'm comparing 2 hours of character development to 9 years of character development. Yep. And the reason that's relevant now, regardless of what show it was, is that you're not going to get the kind of character development and gameplay in Infinity that you're going to get in an online multi-level multiplayer game that you play for 6 months. It's just not going to happen.
And again, it ties back to the toys where it's not Disney Infinity's goal to inform you of in-depth story. It's about here's toys creative to play with from the stories you love.
Exactly. So I like that he touched on, you know, staggering the release, just like the last comment we talked about did. I like that, I'm not sure if you're going to touch on this comment or not, but someone commented that they won't be an episode 7 playset because that comes out, Infinity 3.0 will most likely come out before it. It's like, well, Jasmine doesn't come out till February 14, so there's nothing to say that it can't be released after the film. You know, it comes out December. The film and the playset could be released on the same day, so people get excited and they get it for Christmas.
Yeah. Michael
there's ways around that.
14 says, more than likely there will be an episode 6 playset. I think he probably means, oh no, it could be an episode 6. And it will be a bit like the Pirates playset, where you will travel to different places, and in the playset you would have Luke, Han, Chewbacca and Princess Leia, and also Darth Vader. Another playset will more likely be episode 1, and in that playset you would have Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan, Padme, Anakin, Jar Jar, and Darth Maul. Another playset will be episode 7, also I think Yoda, Stormtroopers and Rebel Soldiers, and Emperor Palpatine will be playable, but maybe just as Toy Box characters. So again, he's just agreeing with the fact that we're going to see originals content there. And finally, John Sparks says, the problem with doing an episode 7 playset is timing. This might be the one you were referencing. The film won't be out till the week before Christmas, so they won't want anything spoiled in September. I've always believed there would be 3 sets, original trilogy, PT, what's that? Prequel trilogy.
Prequel trilogy.
And Rebels. Original trilogy will be included in the starter pack just because of recognition. I'd go with Endor, Death Star to mirror the Guardians of the Galaxy playset, and Nowhere, Dark Asta. All the relevant characters were in action for that. Ewoks are right for the townsperson treatment. Toy Box games can cover the other films like an X-Wing versus TIE Fighter game or Escape from Cloud City game. So I'd agree with them, but then again I would tie that back to, again, because they're toys and historically, say, the playsets have never followed the storyline anyway, so there's no spoilers, and you'll know all the characters through trailers and movie posters. So it's literally just getting the figures early of those characters you like. I mean, there may be some minor spoil stuff, but it's not going to wreck the storyline of the film by any means.
Look, they might belong to certain playsets, I guess, but, and I kind of went, do we really need to see many people from the prequel trilogy? But I think I'd be very upset if we didn't get a Darth Maul figure. Yeah. So, yeah, he's just ripe for infinity. The special moves, the double lightsaber. You know, he has to be in a video game, and just to have him standing there, there's some alternate sort of universe stuff on the internet of, you know, what if episode 1 was good, what if episode 2 was good. If you haven't seen them, watch them on YouTube. And he talks about the biggest mistake they made in the prequels was killing off Darth Maul. They should have brought him through. He was one of the best villains ever in Star Wars, and he should have carried through. And it would have given Obi-Wan a good motivation to avenge Qui-Gon. You know, I mean, he did it right there and then, but what if he had lived and got away?
Yeah.
What kind of driving force would that have been for Obi-Wan and then you would have got a nice temptation of Obi-Wan to flick to the dark side while Anakin was battling with it, and they would have been able to show you how a mature Jedi dealt with it and how an unprepped Jedi. But I'm way off track. I apologize. But look, at the end of the day, I think, yeah, we're going to get a mix of prequel and classic trilogy. And for the first time, I'm thinking there's so much to explore since seeing the episode 7 trailer. So this is just a brand new thought. They might even dump the prequels and the classic trilogy in together. So you might have Rebels existing, 1 to 6. There might be a 1 to 6 set.
Yep.
So you got, Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, young Obi-Wan, but then you got Luke, Han, Leia, and Yoda and all that. And then episode 7 and the new trilogy gives you another play set. It's not like they need a whole trilogy to give you characters, because they gave us what are we getting, like 8 characters from Guardians off one film?
Yeah.
So episode 7 could give us a whole set on its own, and then you got Rebels. So for the first time since seeing the scope and the scale, which I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, but since seeing and having the visuals of episode 7 realized in a trailer, I'm thinking they might actually lump the figures from 1 to 6 together.
Yeah. I agree. But only time will tell, and we will inform you as soon as we're aware. So it's been a great episode. Make sure that you watch the next coming episodes that will be releasing every week. We've got a Hoth series coming up next, I believe, and so make sure you leave your comments in there, and we won't be doing a commentary on comments on this video, but let us know if you like this video. Anyway, it's a little bit Inception, isn't it? If you're doing commentary on a commentary show.
And how deep do you drill?
Exactly.
It's our commentary on the commentaries.
But anyway, we like to hear from you guys anyway, and if you do have any points on, on these other comments, let them know. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode, which will be coming very soon. And also check out, if you haven't watched it, our review of the episode 7 trailer, which will be not too far from this video, but we'll create a link for it here for you to click on. So hit that like, subscribe if you're new here, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yep, thanks for all your comments.